right, great, fantastic. So let's start off today with standing up. And we can shake a little, but honestly, what I really want to start with is taking off my slippers. Good old yoga in the house.
We're just.
It is recording.
Oh, good.
So let's start off with feet just a little wider than hips width distance. And we're just going to inhale our arms up above the head. And then exhale the arms down. And you can look up like I did as you inhale.
I'm not doing it.
So inhaling the arms up. And then just exhaling the arms down. Beginning to see what it's like to breathe through the side of the body here. As we inhale again, arms coming way up. And exhaling. Let's just let the arms come. Oh, hi. Let's let the arms come just to shoulder height here. And we're going to inhale and curve to the side. And even though you might know this movement already, take it slow. So breathe naturally here as you hang out here on the side. But when you inhale, really feel the length coming in through the side of the body here, but also lengthen as much as you can through the other side, through the more bent side of the body, like you're pouring over water. So on the next inhale, let's come back to that T shape, inhaling, and then exhale, pour over to the other side. Just stay here for a second, seeing what that feels like, inhaling and exhaling. And then we'll exhale, arms back out, inhale to the other side. Now we can time it with the breath. Exhaling the arms out to a T, inhaling the arms out to the side, minimized it. Exhale the arm out to a T, the arms, inhaling and swaying from side to side. This is a version of swaying palm tree posture, which I'm sure you might have seen in other classes too. Exhaling arms out into a T, inhaling one more time to the side. Exhaling arms out into a T. We'll let the hands come down. And now we'll shake it all off because I just love to shake. And it's very hard for me to start a class without shaking off. So in shaking, you can shake the legs, you can shake the arms, you can bounce in place, you can hop in place if you're feeling really sluggish and you want to bring the energy up. However, if you're practicing in a place where bedtime is not too far from now, then keep the feet grounded and just kind of shake off your day, whether it was a whole lot of nothing or a whole lot of running around because it's December 1st and we're a little hardwired to run around this month. I know I am, whether I like it or not. So just standing, shaking, let the body really kind of flow into it. We're going to allow some room for movement and flowing before we take it down into a more sort of deep, restorative stretching and eye exercising experience. So from here, we can let the shaking come to twisting. You might be able to guess what's coming next. I hate to be predictable, but it does feel so good to let that twisting just evolve into not shaking and bringing the arms up to chest height, inhaling to the right, exhaling to the left, making the sound shh on your exhale. So continuing, inhaling right, exhaling left. Take note of anywhere in your body that you might be feeling this twist. Maybe it's in a certain point of the spine. Maybe it's in a certain point in the front of your body. For example, I feel it a little bit in my oblique muscles in my core. And then when you're ready, bring the arms up to a T shape or to a cactus shape or a goalpost shape. Breathing the same way, inhaling right, exhaling left. Noting if you feel this twist anywhere different on your spine. Perhaps you feel it higher up or lower down. Try to keep the hips facing forward as much as possible. And last but not least, let's take our arms down as if we are manually turning a hula hoop. And there's some fun you can have here. As you inhale to the right and exhale to the left, when you inhale to the right, feel free to grab the air and fling it to the left as you exhale. So inhaling to the right, grabbing there, flinging to the left as you exhale, making the sound like you're grabbing hunks of air and just flinging it behind you. And of course, take note if you feel this anywhere else in your spine, anywhere different from the previous two twists. For me, it's way down in my low back. It feels absolutely delightful. And then we'll just kind of unwind, letting the hands knock against the shoulders, slapping side to side, and then shaking again, ending where we started off. Now, to build up a little extra heat, we're going to do that same movement with the arms coming up and down, but this time we're going to take a nice wide stance so that when I bend my knees aren't coming out over my ankles, but they're right above. So to show you from the front, heart on the wood floor sometimes.
Maybe I stand on this mat.
You can stand on the mat, you can stand on the wood floor. We were just having a conversation about how yoga mats are optional in yoga. You really don't need a mat to practice yoga. But anyway, inhaling arms up, we'll squat down. Exhaling, push the arms up, bringing you back to standing. Inhaling, arms up, squatting down. You could even look up as you squat. Exhale, arms come down. You could look down as you stand. So continuing at your own pace, inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling, arms come up, exhaling, arms come down. What do you want to teach today? Like you, Brian. Do you want to teach more charana, or you want to just go deep down?
You could do a few things, put your arm to warm things up.
Go for
I
it.
really want to do a lot of
Hip
hip stuff.
Yes.
On the ground, but we can do some hip stuff while we're standing up. So
Take it.
Next time you come up,
it's like the Smoker Brothers here.
you could step a little, out to, like you were a little. Actually, come in a little bit and feet at about hips width distance, and we're just gonna roll through the hips, making big circles with the hips.
This is great.
Just keep breathing. And then feel free to switch the direction.
How did our psoas muscles get so tight all of a sudden?
Well, we've been doing a lot of hiking.
Hiking, walking, driving, moving, being a human with hips. All of these are ways that the psoas muscles can become tight.
And then you can just come back to center. Feel free to shake it out if you need to. We're going to do something else for the hips. You can bring the feet in at about hips width distance. And we're going to rock the hips forwards and back. So it's like you stick your tailbone out, and then you scoop your tailbone out, scoop your tailbone out there.
Nice.
So it's like back.
Keep your tailbone under,
Tailbone under. And so the idea with this, and you can turn this into an abdominal exercise. You can actually, it's like you relax your lower abdominal muscles here when you stick your butt out, and you pull those lower abdominal, engage those abdominal muscles, lower abdominal muscles to bring the hips forward. Now, if you want to, feel free to bring us like a circular motion into this, if you like. So we're kind of rolling through the hips now.
So one thing I love about these small hip circles is it's really more of like a bending of the knees. Like hello floor. I'm bending one knee and then bending the other. It's kind of a belly dancer movement, I guess.
And then switch the direction. So we're doing it in both directions.
And even if your hip rolls are really small and you're just getting a little bit of movement, that's fine. The idea here is not, to mimic exactly what we're doing or for us to mimic exactly what our teacher taught us when he originally taught us this stuff, but more just to get that sense of fluidity in the pelvic bowl. It's as if I'm holding a big bowl of water and just kind of gently sloshing it from side to side as I rotate.
So you can come back to center.
Sorry, I keep hijacking.
No, that's good. These things are good to discuss because that gives people a good visualization. You can step back out to, again, like mats width distance or even hips width distance, whatever's comfortable for you. Now we're going to do figure eights with the hips. Ooh. So it's just like you take one hip I'm going to start with my right, and I take it forward and then back, and then the other hip comes forward and goes back. So we're making like a figure 8 with our hips.
Again, a movement which is really, in some ways, guided by the knees. Although, as some of you may know, and if I'm at liberty to take it there.
Go for it.
This can also be a movement of the entire spine. So I'm going to show it from behind with the idea that my spine is snaking back and forth in like an S-curve. So to help this, doing a backstroke while I do this movement actually kind of encourages me to engage my thoracic spine. That's the spine from here to here, basically, and allow it to really feel this range of motion. In the idea of sort of internal alchemy, which you see in Qigong sometimes, the air element is here in this sort of heart section. So when you are feeling really sort of down and heavy and sad and maybe downhearted, this kind of movement where you're opening up the heart like this, it can help. There is something to be said for posture affecting mood. So feel free to allow this movement, even if it feels awkward or clunky, to be just large. It doesn't have to be perfect again. It's more about feeling the smoothness in the body more than anything else.
So when you're ready, you can just shake it out for a second. And we're going to do this. Now we're going to take those figure 8s in the opposite direction. So I'm going to start with my left hip this time with it in the back and sweep it forward. And then the other hip comes from back to forward. So here we are, drawing our figure 8s in the opposite direction.
And similarly, this might be a little easier for you, well, it is for me, with the arms, because they're coming forward now. I'm doing a breaststroke.
Add in this forward swimming motion to it as well, if that helps. And it just feels good in general to be rolling out the shoulders, opening the heart.
Well, there's so much more too, because I feel like our hips are getting attention, our knees are getting some attention here as they bend side to side. And of course, if this is painful on your knees or your hips, just small movements are totally fine. But also our ankles are kind of getting stuff here.
And if it's tiring on your arms, you can just do the figure 8s without the arms. Whatever your body's looking for today.
Right.
So
Everything
do it
is
a few
optional.
more, and then you can just shake it out.
Jump up and down.
I just want to shake it out.
Let's do a little more arm stuff while we're at it. Let's bring the thumbs into the palms. We'll fold the 4 fingers around the thumbs like this. And then let's just rotate from the wrists down by our sides here. When you're ready, inhaling the arms out and up. So they're right above you, shoulders still tracking down and back, and then exhaling the arms down in front of us like this. Still rotating the wrists, possibly feeling a little pull through the forearms, particularly if you work with your hands. Then when you're ready, we'll switch the direction, rotating the wrists. And this time, let's inhale the arms in front of us and up, still keeping the shoulders down, hard for me in this position. Exhaling, arms out wide and down. And then we'll shake the arms out. Is there any other standing stuff we want to do? So you want to twist chop one?
Yeah, those are good ones.
You want to twist, I'll chop one?
Yeah.
Okay, you twist. I'll
Twisting.
chop.
We're going to sumo twist that.
I'll show this from the side.
Step out pretty wide. Wide enough that when you squat down, your knees are still either behind or directly over your ankles and not forward of them like this.
No ballet plies.
So we're gonna bring the hands just to the inner upper thighs, above the knees. You can just squat down, tuck that tailbone so you have a nice long straight back, drop the shoulders down so you have a nice long neck. And we're gonna inhale in the middle, and we're gonna exhale, press into one up leg, twist to one side as you exhale. Inhale back through center. You can do these really slow like we're doing right now too. Exhale, twist to the other side.
What did we do to our low backs?
Exhaling as you twist. And inhaling as you come back through center. Feel free to, just twist as much as deep as is comfortable and available to you.
Next time you come to center, let's turn the feet so that they're facing forward. Feet can still be fairly wide here, knees can be bent. Let's interlace the fingers of our hands. We're gonna exhale forward all the way. And really with this, let's try to take this chopping wood as slow as we can, just to kind of feel the range of motion. So let's inhale the arms up wide over the head, and then exhale, folding forward. You can make the sound ha as you fold if you want. It's hard to go slow when you make a noise, but give it a try. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling ha. And as you exhale forward, knees can be bent here. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling. One more time, inhaling the arms up, exhaling. And then from here, feel free to place the hands on the ground in front of you for balance or on top of your blocks, that's fine. We'll toe heel the feet closer together so that we're coming into just a traditional forward fold. Yes, I know, it's so wonderful to do a forward fold. So I'm gonna show you real quick from the side. My forward fold, I have a long torso, so as you see, my hips come back pretty far here. I'm actually gonna walk my hands forward just a bit to try to have this line going from hip bone to knee, although my knees are slightly bent, which is fine, hip bone to knee to ankle. So give that a try. You might wanna use a block for this, just for a little bit of stability. And if you really wanna challenge yourself in this sort of forward leaning forward fold, feel free to back up against the wall. So my heels are a good, I don't know, maybe an inch away from the wall, but you know, you can have them 2 or 3 inches away from the wall. This is a great time to use blocks if you like, especially if forward folds are a little bit tough. And just fold forward from here. And then once you are forward, if you're supported on blocks or on your hands, either way, then see if you can scooch the heels even closer to the wall. And just see what that feels like to have weight more kind of on the metatarsals, that's the balls of the feet and the toes, and less on the heels. And then see if you can lean back onto your heels here. You might not be able to because you might have something in the way, some abundances that are wonderful to sit on. In which case, feel free to walk the feet forward just a little bit and then see if you can place all of your weight evenly between the heels and the metatarsals. As we just fold forward here for a second longer. And then when you're ready, feel free to step away from the wall. You can walk your hands forward a little bit, and then your feet will roll all the way back up to standing. Shake it off a little bit. And we'll do one more standing thing, unless you have any more standing things you want to do. We'll do one more before coming down to the ground and taking it slightly more easy. So if you have a block, even if you don't really need it, but it is fun to have something to stand on here. I'm gonna place the block, let's say maybe like a foot away from a wall or something just to hold on to. It doesn't have to be a wall. And I'm gonna stand on the block with my foot that's closest to the wall. And the foot that's away from the wall, I'm just gonna swing it. Because I'm standing on the block, it gives me a lot of range of motion here. I don't have to worry about scraping my foot on the ground as it swings back and forth. But the idea with this swinging, and yes, you can get your arm into it as well, is that I'm just loosening up the muscles in the hips here. So usually we just do this movement for a little while, but let's stay with it for a minute and just kind of see what kind of effect it has on the leg that we're swinging. When we're done, we'll come to stillness and see what that's like. So yes, feel free to use the arm, swing yourself. This is obviously a very rigid practice that we've honed for many years. And when you're ready, you can let that swinging kind of just smooth out and shake off. And then just come to standing on your mat in mountain pose here, palms facing forward, feet about hips width distance, and see if you feel any difference between your hip that was swinging and your hip that was holding steady. Me personally, I feel like my hip that was holding steady wants to swing too. So at this point, we come back to the wall or whatever you're holding onto. It could be a chair, that's fine. We'll step the other foot onto the block or the book or whatever you're using. And then, we swing the other way. If you're practicing with a friend, you're trying not to whack them with your heel, I hope. As you do this, let your breathing be natural. You don't have to time it with the movement at all. Just allow it to be soft and smooth. And if you're like me and you lose your breath easily, allow your breath to catch up with you. So a little bit more swinging than we usually do. You can almost act as if your leg that's swinging is just kind of a dead weight that you're swinging back and forth, kind of like it's a pendulum or something. And then when you're ready, we'll just shake that leg off, letting the swinging come back to stillness, shake everything off, and then we'll stand here mountain for just a second, feeling our body alive, awake, yummy, functional, still here, all the good stuff. And then when you're ready, we'll come down to seated any way you like. If you wish to Frankenstein, you can. That would be where big toes come to touch. There's a little distance between my heels. My arms come up in front of me. I stand on my toes, bend my knees, using my hips as a counterbalance and coming all the way down to a toe stand. Then hands come down to the mat. I'll come down to my knees, move my feet to the side, and come back to seated. And at this point, if you want to sit on a blanket at any point today while we're seated, feel free. I'm going to do that just because it's wonderful. Thank you, Brian. From here, let's put our hands behind us on the ground, just letting the knees rock side to side for a second. Do you want to lead us through a body massage real quick?
Body massage. Sure.
It sounds quite exciting. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
With the clap and tap and all that good stuff? Okay. So since we've gotten the energy moving all around our body, there are ways of kind of distributing it to make sure that it's not getting all chunked up in one spot or another. So Brian's got to go over that for us.
So we're gonna just wake everything up in the body, bring awareness to different things. So let's take our hands, out like this. We're gonna inhale them up overhead, clap the hands together, start rubbing the palms together. You can widen your fingers so that you're also, you're rubbing between your fingers as well. So it's not just the palms, but getting that whole hand, rubbing it.
So chafing in between the
warming
fingers.
it up. And then the first thing we're gonna do is bring the fingertips to the top of the head and just tap, 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 tap all around the hair line, the hair area. Just kind of tapping gently, waking everything up. And then you can massage in a little bit more, maybe mess up your hair, mess up your ponytail, whatever I got.
And I know it's gonna be it'll be tough to see what we're doing, but if you are wearing glasses, now's a good time to just take them off and place them in front of you somewhere safe for just a second.
Then we're gonna smooth down the face. You can just take the hands, smooth them down the face. You can and smooth them down the neck. Let's grab our ears by the lobes and just kind of pull them. Or you can make little circles. Sometimes I even hear little like crunchy sounds, like I'm working out some stuff. And then you can keep doing that as you take your it's like you grab your ears with your index finger and your thumb, and you can work your way up the sides of the ears all the way, and working our way up to the top of the ears, and just making these circular motions as we pull the ears. And then
can we do a jaw too?
Oh yeah, jaw, that's really great. Let's get
So
right
just
in there.
drop
your jaw and just rub right in that.
It's like you kind of gently take it side to side as well. Although if you have TMJ, be very careful with this. Sorry, I keep interrupting because I have so many ideas about this massage.
And then we're gonna take our hands into these like sort of cup-like looking things, and you're just gonna kind of, you know, beat around the chest area.
At this point, if you want to put your glasses back on, that's fine.
People with breasts, you can avoid the, you don't want to bang on your boobs or anything, but you can bang all around
Skip
it.
that area.
But bang all around it, down here too, and then we're gonna take our hands and sweep out the middle of the abdomen, just like, you know, like we're pulling it apart, like, wow, rip my belly open, zombie. Not very.
It's like Alien, not zombies.
No, zombies, they open you up and eat all your.
Oh, I thought you meant the guy from Alien that busts out the belly.
Oh, that too.
Sorry.
Now, we're gonna take our hands and smooth them down the back. So we're like smoothing down our kidneys.
Ooh, this is a wonderful one.
Actually, I guess zombies usually go for brains and that.
Yeah, they like brains.
My bad. Now what? We're gonna do the arms. So you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna go down the outside of the arms, up the inside of the arms. And you can go kind of fast if you like. You can rub really, really rub it kind of hard, so we're like chafing it, or just waking this part up. Now do the other arm. Same thing. Down the outside, up the inside. And then we're gonna move and do that same thing to the legs. Pick whatever leg you want. Down the outside, up the inside. And since we already have one leg out, let's do our foot while we're at this leg. So you can take a foot and you can just kind of flap it. You can whatever you want to do. So you rub your thumbs down the inside of it. You can just massage it out, or you can just do that as well. So whatever you like, we're just waking up, bringing awareness to the foot, and then we're going to move on to the next leg. Down the outside, up the inside. And then again, we're going to work on that foot. So whatever you like to do, bang it on the floor, clap it out, rub your knuckles down it, whatever you want, just waking up the foot.
And just for the sake of full-on foot waking up itch, let's lean back and put our hands behind us again, but this time just tap the feet on the ground. Waking up, waking up your downstairs neighbor. And then from here, now we take it easy. So feel free to slide forward on your mat.
She says we're going to take it easy, but I know what we have in store. You know, we're laying on our back. Not
no.
to see.
It's really not going to be so bad, I promise. So let's just come all the way down and laying on our backs here. Inhaling deeply, exhaling completely, feeling the belly rise and fall naturally as you breathe. And then let's take our arms out into a T. Our knees are bent, soles of the feet flat on the mat. And let's just gently let the knees rock from side to side again. I can't get enough of these low back releases today, and I'm hoping that they feel good for you too. So just gently rocking the knees. And yes, Brian's right. Taking it easy is a little bit of a misnomer, but we'll give you options. So you can either continue with this movement, just really do it fully and slowly. Like maybe when your knees fall off to one side, you actually draw them up towards the body a little and rest in a spinal twist for a second. And then these come back to center. And then you draw them up and rest in the spinal twist for another second on the other side. If you wish for an abdominal strengthening exercise at this point, you can bring the knees so that they are sort of this right angle shape.
Sorry.
So there's a right angle between my knees and there's a right angle at my hips too. And at this point, I'm going to keep doing that same movement where I'm letting the knees rock over from one side and then rock over to the other. Just slowly going back and forth here. This is another, great release, but slightly more strengthening, particularly for the muscles at the sides of the abdominis rectus. So it's at the sides of your six pack. We have our oblique muscles there.
And to get the maximum challenge, I don't know if Ann mentioned this or not, but if you keep the knees together, when you do this, that will be quite a challenge.
Yes, then you get a gold star.
Yes, from the yoga.
But you also get a gold star just for being here.
From the
so-
yoga.
From the yoga
authorities.
star givers. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the legs back up to center. If your feet are on the mat now, at this point, feel free to bring them up to the same position. And if you want to hold behind the knees for this, that's fine. If you want to make it more of an abdominal challenge, have your hands down by your sides, and we're just going to rotate the ankles. So all familiar terrain here. And quite relaxing for the feet. Breathing deeply. If you prefer that, your hands resting on your belly so you can feel the belly rising as you inhale and coming back down as you exhale. That's fine. And feel free to take these ankle circles slowly if you want to. At this point, let's switch the direction of the rotation, so turning the little circles the other way. And if any of this seems, strenuous or hard, by all means, slow it down, take it at a more gentle pace. But I also invite you, and at this point we can just pull the knees into the chest and rock side to side. I also invite you, if I'm bringing you into any positions which require you to really hold the muscles, try as best you can to find a sense of relaxation and rest in the posture. Even if it's a moving posture, even if it's a challenging posture, just see how you can make it a massage for your body, a massage that your body gives itself without even necessarily using your hands. So when you're ready, we'll come back onto our backs, knees come into the same position again, this right angle position. You can hold under the knees if you like, or you can have your hands down by your sides or resting on your belly. And we'll draw bigger circles with the whole lower leg now. So I'm rotating, it appears that I'm rotating from the knees. Technically, I'm rotating from the hips because the knees aren't ball and socket joints like this. But it still feels like I'm rotating from the knees. And this is a nice warm up for the joints and the knees. You might have a little popping and cracking. Totally fine. If you have a knee injury, obviously take this very carefully. You can draw just real little circles. But if it feels comfortable, explore space. When you're ready, we'll switch directions, rotating from the knees, at least appearing so, the other way. Breathing deep, finding rest and relaxation even in the movement. And then when you're ready, we'll draw the knees back into the chest. This time, let's place the hands on top of the knees here so everything's kind of tucked in. And I'm going to draw little circles with the knees. So I'm really kind of massaging into the low back here, using the floor as something to push against. I'm listening to it rock under me. This floor is the only floor in our house that's original. The rest of the house has another set of wood floors put on top of the original, and you can really hear it in here. I kind of love it though. When you're ready, switch directions, we'll go the other way. Do you want to teach just a couple more core things, and then we'll take it to hips and eyes?
Mm-hmm.
All right, your turn. Have fun.
Right. So we're going to do a couple of things for the core. I'm going to give you a couple of options here. For the first one, you have two options. If you want it a little more restorative, you can bring the feet to touch, let the knees go wide.
Ooh, and you can also put your blocks or your books or whatever you're using under the knees if you want. That further restores this posture.
Or if you want it a little more challenging, you can take the legs straight up like this, zip them together, press out, activate through the heels, so it's like you're standing on the ceiling. We're going to take our hands, interlace the fingers, and then bring the two pointer fingers to touch, pointing straight ahead like this. Like you're making it with the gun. Stick them up.
Oh, stop.
And then you're going to inhale, reach up towards the feet, or if you have your legs out like this, well, you're still reaching towards the feet either way. And then exhale, lowering. And we're just coming up off the upper back and neck. Inhaling, exhaling. Let the upper abdominal muscles do the work of pulling you up. Try to release and relax any tension in the face and the jaw and the neck. Let the motion happen from the abdominal muscles.
Oh, I've got some ideas.
And for this last one, inhale, come up and stay there for a breath so you can exhale here. Inhale again, and then come down on the exhale. You can bring your legs down if you have them up. If you have your feet wide, you can take your hands to your side and bring them together. Now we're going to do something for the side body. So you can, two options here. You can take your feet kind of wide, let the knees touch. Or again, same option as the first time around. If you want it more challenging, you can bring your legs up to stand on the ceiling. Again, we're going to come up off of the head and upper back, but no crunching in the neck. So let the abdominals do this work. And then we're just going to reach down, side to side.
And again, if you can, I know it's a weird concept, try to find relaxation into this as if you're relaxing as much as you would be in Shavasana. I know that it's a stretch, but really just let that belly do the work, almost as if you're separated from it and your mind is saying, oh, this is so blissful. It's like laying on the beach. Not really, but we can hope.
And then come back. Let's hug our knees into our chest this time and just sort of rock a little bit side to side. And then there's one other area of the abdominal muscles that those first two exercises, the first one works our upper abdominals, the second one works our obliques. You can do something for the lower abdominals. So you can take your legs down the mat. So now we have a nice, long, straight, flat body here. And your option here, we're going to do leg lifts, and I'm going to give you the option. You can do alternating leg lifts, lifting one leg, then the other leg, or if you want it more challenging, you lift both legs at the same time. Or you could start one way and go to the other way, whatever's working for you. So on an inhale.
Oh, I want to interject some subtleties real quick. More challenge will be having your hands next to your hips. Less challenge, more comfort will be lifting one hip, placing the palm face down under that hip, so my hip is resting on the top of my hand, then lifting the other hip, same thing, so that both my hips are resting on top of my hands here. This will make the leg lifts just that much easier.
So inhaling, lifting, exhaling, lowering. The slower you go, the more challenging, especially on the exhale. Couple more. And if you're doing both legs at the same time, or if you're still doing alternate leg lifts, maybe make the last one or the last two, if you're doing alternating leg lifts, really lower, slow.
Again, relaxing into this as if your legs are just lighter than air, and this ain't no thing.
Ah.
It's totally a thing.
All right, once more, let's bend the knees, bring the feet to the mat. You can take the arms out into a T and just let the knees windshield wiper side to side. So releasing any tension in low back, working it all out.
There's one more thing for the abdominals I want to do, but this is more of a restorative thing. So we'll do this a couple times, and it's your choice how you want to do it. We're going to do a bridge and wheel. And if you want completely unsupported, you could do bridge and then wheel. We'll demonstrate it. But another option, if you want to make this delicious, is to take a block and do supported bridge, possibly for one of them, possibly for the whole time. Your choice. So supported bridge can look like this, where I lift my hips a little and just put the block at its lowest setting, and then kind of rest my hips on that. You can also use a folded up blanket for this purpose. You can roll it up pretty tight and then just sit on that. That's a great start. If you're here, feel free to straighten out the legs, opening up through the psoas muscles here, through those muscles in the hip flexors that really get tight from driving, walking, running, biking, moving, being a human. So that's one option. If you want to go deeper, of course, you can raise the block to a higher level, or if it feels comfortable and safe for you to do this, you can take the block all the way up to the highest level. Here I am in a very, very supported bridge because my regular bridge just looks like that. And then same thing, legs can come long. If this feels safe for you to do so like this with the legs long and the hips supported, you can also experiment with raising the arms over the head. So just now that you've seen that, we'll get into the practice in earnest, coming into bridge and wheel. I'm actually going to show this from the side. So for bridge, let's just inhale. Well, first I want to make sure that my knees are right over my ankles here. And thankfully, because I have the benefit of video technology, I can actually see that for once. Usually if I tuck my heels all the way up against my hips, my knees actually come forward a little bit. So I don't really want that because it's just not going to be as stable. So at this point, arms are down by my side, knees are pointed up. Optional also to put a block in between the knees to make sure that your knees are tracking towards the center and straight down over the feet and not splaying out to the side. I'm going to slowly inhale my hips up, vertebra by vertebra. And when I get up to the cervical spine here, to my neck, and I'm resting on my neck and my shoulders, I'm going to lift my hips up just a little extra and interlace my fingers behind my hips like this and just hold here for a second. Again, another option, if you are not in supported bridge, but you'd like to see what it feels like just to support yourself in bridge, you can bend your elbows and place your hands just kind of, for me, it's like kind of right above my glutes, sort of around either side of my low back.
It's like the top of the hips.
Yeah, like the top of the hips. Like if I had hip bones that I could feel through my back, my hands would be cupping them. So that's one option. And then when you're ready, and I'm sure, at least for me, my quads are feeling this, so I know I'm ready. I'm going to come back down, remove the block. Again, let my knees rock side to side and take out any tension in the low back. And now we'll do wheel. And again, I said as before, if you are in a supported shoulders or a supported bridge, feel free to stay there. If you want to try wheel, this move this out from under my head. I'm going to bend my elbows and point my hands palm face down, fingers pointing towards my shoulders here. From here, I'm going to push down on my hands a little bit just to draw my head to the mat like this. And I know I'm looking to the side, but don't do that. Once your head is here, don't turn it side to side because it will be quite easy to injure yourself. So this is my starting position for wheel. I am still trying to keep my knees coming towards each other here. And then I'll push down on my hands and straighten up. Maybe straightening my legs, maybe straightening through my arms and bending my knees, lifting the abdominal muscles towards the ceiling for just a minute more. And then when you're ready, tucking the chin, coming down, and drawing the knees towards the chest, rocking side to side. I know we said this was going to be easy and restorative.
I wanted them otherwise.
I'm not trying to be sadistic or anything. So when we're ready, feel free to roll off to one side. We're just going to rest here for a second in a fetal position. Catching our breath. And now we'll push on our hands to come up to seated. We're going to do just a little bit of seated hip openers for a second before doing our eye stuff and getting into a very sort of meditative space. So again, if you have tight hamstrings, the muscles in the back of your thighs, and it's hard for you to touch your toes as it is for me, feel free to sit up on the blanket here and elevate the hips a little bit. We're just going to bring the legs right in front of us for staff posture. And one thing that I like to do here, you might appreciate this too, when I'm here in staff posture, I actually like to put my hands on either side of one thigh and rotate the flesh outward. So my inner hand is pushing the flesh down, my outer hand is pulling the flesh up, and I'm opening out that sits bone. Then I'm gonna do that on the other leg. So the inner hand pushes down, outer hand pushes up, rotate on the sits bone. So now my sits bones are much more open on the ground and I've got a nice solid base. From here, I'm gonna bend my knees ever so slightly to protect those tight hamstrings and let them come into this on their own terms. Inhaling the arms up, exhaling, folding forward. But as I'll show from the side, folding forward not like this, but from the hips, as if there's a hinge, and I'm coming back and forth like a door. So folding forward, hands can come to shins or wrap around your feet. Maybe if your knees are bent, you can experiment with straightening one and then the other. We'll just hang out here in staff posture for a little bit. And then when you're ready, come back up to seated. Let's bend our right knee and bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh. And again, if you have a block and you wish to place the block under the bent right knee, that's totally fine. From here, I'm going to inhale the arms up high again and just briefly come forward towards my left foot here. Again, keeping the spine long. So if I'm up here and not able to touch my foot, it's going to be a lot gentler on my back than if I'm down here, able to touch my foot, but my back is a big curvy curve S or a C shape. So from here, this gentle forward fold, let's take the right hand to the outside of the left shin and slide the left arm back. So that's kind of resting behind the left hip. And we're just going to look over our left shoulder for a second. So I know that my back isn't completely straight here, but it's just a subtle twist for a second. If you want to walk that right hand closer to the outside of the left foot, that's fine. Maybe even wrapping fingers around the outside of the left foot, but really pressing into that left hand to allow for that twist. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the hands around the other way, maybe taking both hands around the bent right knee and opening it out to the right a little bit. And then from here, yogi's choice, we can either put the left arm palm face up right next to the left leg like this, or we can bend the left elbow, palm face down so the left hand is right in front of the right foot like that. Or you can bend the left knee, slide the palm face up under the left calf. So sliding my left palm under my left calf, and then bring that left calf down on that. From here, let's take our right hand to our right shoulder and just open up. Oh, hello, the ceiling. Because the goal eventually with this, the goal, which could be achieved in many lifetimes, as may be the case for me, is to get my back to be resting on my left leg. From here, I'm going to straighten my left arm toward, or my right arm towards my left foot. And if you are having sore intercostal muscles, the muscles in between your ribs, really make sure to keep the body long here. So it might even help to actually take the left hand out from under the left shin and even reach it a little further down the mat or bring it back, just to try to keep that left side body as long as you can here as you reach towards the left with the right hand. If it feels like you're collapsing forward here, just bring the right hand back to the right shoulder, take it back onto your back, and then reach up again, gazing at the ceiling. And breathing deep. Let's not forget our wonderful, fantastic breath, the gift of life. It really is so great to get to breathe. And when you're ready, we'll let that right arm lead us out of it. I know where he's going with this. I see where his hand is going. Yes, go for it. You teach it.
You're gonna plant
I know it's
our
good.
right hand behind us. Gonna come up onto your right knee, left foot. So the hips come up, sweep that left arm up alongside of the head.
So this is
Just
called,
long stretch all the way down the left side of the body.
it's called waterfall.
And when you're ready to come out of it, just exhale, sit back down.
From here, let's take this already bent right knee and place the right foot on the outside of the left leg, making sure to keep the sole of the right foot really pressing against the ground here. And if this is comfortable for you, you can bend the left knee and draw the left foot towards the right hip. Just make sure if you're doing this with both knees bent, that both of your hips are really grounding into the ground here. But really, it doesn't matter which one you do because you're going to get a good twist either way. So from here, yes, okay. I always forget how to do this one right because I like to teach it open too. So from here, we're going to wrap our left arm around our right knee, holding it tight towards our body with the idea that everything is moving up in this position. And then we're going to inhale that right arm forward, windmilling it up and over, and then letting it come to the ground or block right behind your hips. From here, if this feels like you've got extra and you want to take it to that extra level, we'll inhale that left arm up, bend at the elbow, and bring the left hand in front of the knee here. And then I'm going to give you a hand option because I really love hand postures in yoga. So 2 choices. One, you can do apana mudra. This is the mudra for downward flowing energy. And to be frank, I'm menstruating right now, so this is a good mudra for me because I'm trying to take everything down and out of me and cleanse my system. If you would like to try that and you want to feel very grounded, I'll show you up close. The hand gesture looks like that. It's almost like a heavy metal kind of thing, except that the pads of my middle and ring fingers are coming to that thumb. The other hand gesture is called Kangula Mudra. It looks like this, where I fold the ring finger in towards the center of the palm and then bring the other 4 fingers together like a flower with a hidden wonderful thing in it. This one is significant because it means secret powers of good. So when you do Kangula Mudra, like that, with your left hand as you twist and continue holding this twist, find your comfort in it. You can focus on the qualities of your personality that are here to benefit all living creatures, all living things, all living beings that might not be outwardly apparent. Like you know that you did a good deed, but didn't tell anyone about it. Something like that. This is what this hand gesture is for. So your choice, Apana Mudra, the heavy metal looking one, or Kangula Mudra, the lily, closed morning lily, day lily looking one. Yogi's choice. And when you're ready, we'll just take both hands to the left, unwind the twist, pressing down for a counter twist. We'll come back up, and this is where we get a little bit deep. It's Yogi's choice. We're going to do pigeon, and you have 3 choices. You can do pigeon on your back. This is possibly the most restful version. And the way you would do this is we'll just come onto our back, cross the left ankle, or the right ankle over the left knee, lift the left foot off the ground, interlace the fingers behind the left knee, and draw the knee towards your chest, making sure to push that right knee away from you so that you can keep that shin parallel to the ground. If you're still sitting here in this twist, and you want to come into half pigeon, well, to full pigeon, I'll say, which really is, I guess it's about as intense as half pigeon. It's fine that one's full and one's half. We're going to bring the left shin to the mat, and then we're going to bring the right shin on top of the left. This is also called fire log. I know it's kind of hard to tell because I'm wearing black pants.
You can see from me though.
Oh yeah, Brian's got his legs all out. Okay, great. So Brian will show off with his beautiful legs. There we go. And you might notice with this one, so my shins are right on top of each other here. If you have a kind of bony ankles, as some of us may have, feel free to put like a little bit of a blanket or a sweater or something between the ankle and the knee. But you'll see there's some distance between my ankle and my knee here. As I fold forward gently, that distance disappears. But if that's not the case for you, you can always place a block right here and fold forward gently like that. So that is full pigeon. And then the last option, and we're going to be here for a bit, so take a look at all the options before you commit to something, is half pigeon. With half pigeon, I'm going to place my hands at the front of the mat, bring my right knee towards my right wrist, and move this blanket out of the way, and have my left wrist, kind of my right ankle kind of coming towards my left wrist. From here, I'm gonna walk my left leg back behind me. I'm gonna look behind myself and make sure that that left foot is coming straight back. Okay, well, we're almost done, And then we're just gonna fold forward for a second. Sorry, this is a very worthy class, so if anyone has a time commitment that they need to make, feel free. Sorry that we're gonna go over by about 15 minutes or so. So when you're ready, whether you're in full pigeon, half pigeon, or pigeon on your back, feel free to take that deepest expression of the posture. In full pigeon and half pigeon, that means folding forward. In pigeon on your back, that just means making sure that that shin is parallel to the ground, that right shin. And once you find the deep expression of this posture, just breathe. Breathe into it. Notice the sensation in your body. And be sympathetic to it. If something is not feeling comfortable or you need some support, possibly support under your right hip if you're in half pigeon like I am, feel free to take a folded up blanket, place it under that hip, and then rest the hip on the blanket. And then when you're ready, no hurry at all, we'll gently push into the hands if you're folded forward, coming back up towards seated. If you're in pigeon on your back, feel free to rock off to one side or the other, and then rest on your side for a second, then pushing yourself back up to seated. We'll take the legs in front of us here in seated position, and this time, let's straighten the legs out in front of us, hands behind us on the ground, supporting us, and just turn the toes in and out, loosening up through the hips, doing a little seated skeletal shaking for our lower half. And then again, we'll do the other side fairly quickly, since I don't want to waste anyone's time here. So coming up to a nice tall seat and staff, just briefly, now we'll bend the left knee, draw the sole of the left foot towards the inside of the right leg, and take the arms overhead, keeping a nice long body, hinging from the hips, folding forward towards that right foot, hands may be resting on the calf. Just briefly, a few breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll slide that left palm to the outside of the right calf here, and you can slide that right hand back along the side of your body here, the right side of your body, and let it rest behind the right hip. And we'll just turn to look over our right shoulder, minor twist here. If you want, you can reach that left hand to the outside of the right foot. And then when you're ready, we'll come back up. I'm going to turn myself towards the left now, opening my left knee out towards the left. Ooh, hello, hips. And 3 choices for the arm. I'm going to turn to face you so you can see what I'm doing here. The arm can either be palm face up, just inside the leg, palm face down in front of the left foot, or you can lift that right knee and slide the palm face up under the right calf. From here, left hand comes to left shoulder. We twist it open, probably you remember this from last time, and then reach long overhead. If you feel yourself collapsing down towards the left, again, take a hand to that left shoulder, open up towards the ceiling, and then reach. Keeping both sides of the body as long as you can in this somewhat intense stretch. And then when you're ready, inhale back up to seated, lifting through the left arm. Let's place the left arm behind our hips, and then just using the right arm to kind of lift us up into waterfall for just a second, reaching long behind us, maybe on the diagonal. And then we'll come back down to seated. Let's take the bent left knee and place the left foot on the outside of the right leg, really taking care to keep that left foot grounding into the ground here. And your choice, leg can either stay straight here, or if it's comfortable, you can bend the right knee, making sure both sits bones are flat on the ground here. We'll hug around the right knee, or the left knee with the right hand. Inhale the left arm up, windmilling it all the way around to behind us. And then from here, if you want to go further, we'll inhale the right arm up, bend the right elbow, and yogi's choice, either apana mudra, which is this almost like a little animal looking hand gesture where the middle and ring fingers that touch the thumb, the finger pads all come together, or kangula mudra, where the ring finger of the right hand comes right into the palm and the remaining fingers all come together like a closed lily. And we'll look over our left shoulder, breathing deeply, abiding in the peacefulness of this posture. Lengthening the body up, but still grounding into that left big toe. Feeling the belly possibly press against the left thigh as you inhale. And then move away from it as you exhale. And then when you're ready, we'll turn around the other way, unwrapping, unwinding, holding down for a little counter twist. And come, oh, I love that, so nice. Come back up to seated. And now that you know what they all look like, yogi's choice, you can either come onto your back or reclined pigeon like this, where we're keeping our left ankle over our right knee and grabbing beneath the right knee and making sure the left knee is tracking away from the body here to keep the left shin parallel to the ground. Or if you are up here, still in your twist, well, you can either come into fire log, where the left ankle bone rests on the right knee, maybe padding there if it's a little too ankle bony, and the left knee kind of floats possibly above the right ankle. Maybe you can put block there. From here you would fold forward. Or, last but not least, good old half pigeon. So hands come to the front of the mat. Left ankle comes towards right wrist. Left knee comes towards left wrist. I slide the right leg straight back from the hip. I turn around and check to make sure that my right leg and my right foot are in a straight line from my right hip. And then we find the depth of this posture, whether it's gently folding forward, maybe just coming to your forearms, or coming all the way down to a resting posture. If you feel like your hips are uneven and you need a little bit of propping under the left hip, you can put a folded up blanket there if you like. And we'll just rest here for a second. And when you're ready, no hurry at all. If you're in half pigeon or full pigeon, we'll just press into our hands to bring ourselves back up towards seated. If you're in half pigeon, you can sit off towards your left hip. If you're in pigeon on your back, feel free to roll off to one side or the other. Rest in a fetal position for just a second, and then bring yourself back up towards seated. Again, taking the legs out in front of you, waving the toes side to side, decompressing any tension in the legs. At this point, if you wish to come into Shavasana, you can, or if you wish to practice Tratak with me, you can as well. So I'm going to move a little bit closer to the camera, and we're going to go, if you are practicing Tratak, which is the eye exercises with me, we're going to go from this into Shavasana. So make sure that if you need to put socks on or any sort of comfortable thing before you get into this more meditative part of the practice today, allow yourself those comforts and really any other comfort that's good for you. That's the wonderful thing about yoga. If you're an indulgent or addicted personality type, you really can go wild in a yoga class. as long as you don't injure yourself in the process. So, but if you do, that's okay too. So if we're doing Tratak today, let's start off by, and you can keep your glasses on for now if you need to see what I'm doing, but I'm gonna take mine off. And before you start practicing, I do recommend to take off your glasses just because they do kind of affect the quality of the energy field around your eyes when you're doing this kind of practice. Tratak is a cleansing practice. What it is a gazing practice. I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. This is one of many, many ways to do it. We were taught this by our teacher, Taylor Semko, as 3D Tratak. I'm going to take my pebble or bottle cap or button or small object that's whitish, mine's gray, and not even close to being round, but that's okay. And I'm going to take it about this far and this high away from my third eye. So I'm using my left hand as almost a measuring stick here. And the idea is my gaze is just slightly up. So if I put my thumb, my left thumb on my third eye, and then I place this rock against my left pinky tip, I'm looking just up towards the rock. From here, you'll notice, my right arm is up. So I'm really gonna keep my right shoulder down as best as I can. Left hand can just rest on my left knee. And I'm going to gaze at this object, and only at this object, for a little while. Breathing deeply and ostensibly trying not to blink. If you do blink, that's obviously totally fine. If you don't blink, what you will notice over time is that you may start tearing up a little bit. And it is very hard to control blinking, so don't beat up on yourself if you do blink. But the idea is the less we blink, the more our eyes tear up. The more our eyes tear up, the more they clean out our tear ducts. The more clean our tear ducts are, the less blocked they are with excess protein, which also blocks the release of serotonin. So this is why crying makes you feel good. But the wonderful thing about Tratak is that you will possibly be tearing up without emotion. So you don't have to go through that big mental struggle of feeling sad or happy or whatever it is. You're just doing a practice. Now at this point, if your right arm and particularly your right shoulder are feeling exhausted, feel free to raise the left hand, grab around the rock or the button or the bottle cap. Try not to move the position of it and try not to lose your gaze. You can take your right hand into that same sort of measuring stick position, placing your right thumb at your third eye, the right pinky finger at the object, maybe putting it back in place, but still gazing up. Now my spine here is long, my tail's tucked, my chin is slightly tucked, and I'm really just allowing the gaze to be constant, steady, and relaxed. It's easy to bug your eyes out like the punk rock singer Johnny Rotten. Totally not necessary to do that in this. We're really just gazing at the rock or the button or the bottle cap as if we are gazing at a beloved child or pet, softly softening the edges of our gaze while still attempting not to blink. And if your left arm becomes exhausted, mine isn't just yet, but it will be, by all means, feel free to take the rock again in the right hand and do that transfer to the other side. But, do it when you feel you're ready for that. When you're ready, you can always switch over. Always feel free to use the other hand that's not holding the object, like a measuring stick, to make sure that you're still slightly gazing up and out, activating Shambhavi Mudra, the third eye, smoothing in between the eyebrows as you do this, if you can. The power of Tratak is not only in that it is a cleansing practice for the eyes, but that it is also a practice for the mind to improve concentration and focus, one-pointedness. As you gaze at that rock, perhaps you're feeling like that rock is becoming a part of you, or that button, or that bottle cap. Perhaps you feel like you can sense the quality of it, what it feels like, with your third eye. Keeping the shoulders down, keeping the low back long, keeping the chin slightly tucked. Totally okay to smile. And this is when we experiment with one other thing. So now, whichever hand is holding the rock, or the button, or the bottle cap, feel free to take the other hand and remove it and gaze at that spot in between your fingers where the rock or the button or the bottle cap used to be. And then lower the other hand and try to gaze at that point in space. I'm sure I look totally nuts right now. You can bring the rock back up to that spot and see how close you were. Okay, pretty close. It's hard to hold a point in space, but that is practice that is traditional to Hatha Yoga. I can always describe it in further detail if you like. And then if the rock is back in place, again, take the rock down, trying to look at that space where the rock was. And then when you're ready, we'll close the eyes, possibly feeling tears coming down your face, and we'll rub the hands together vigorously. This time fingers can be together, they don't have to be wide. Until you start feeling a little bit of heat in the palms, and then we'll cup the palms over the closed eyes, letting the heat radiate off of the palms into the eye area, onto the eyelids. Then you can open your eyes, draw the hands away from the eyes slowly, maybe gazing at your fingers, and then bring the hands down. And then just to kind of shake off and loosen the eyes, as we often shake off our body after a muscular practice. Let's take the right thumb to kind of close to the bridge of the nose, and we'll just take it up over the right eye, all the way to the right and down. Eyes are following the thumb as we do this, and then back up to center. And then we'll take that thumb over the left eye, all the way to the left and down, rolling our eyes as we follow our thumb in this sort of infinity pattern. It's like we're drawing infinity sunglasses, in my case, giant infinity clown sunglasses around our eyes. So even if you're nearsighted or farsighted and the thumb is completely blurry here, totally fine. Next time the thumb comes to the center, switch directions. So for me, I'm taking my thumb down and to the right, all the way to the right, up and to the right, up, and back to center, down to the left, all the way to the left, up and to the left, back to center. So we'll just do this a few more times, stretching out the eyes. Obviously, if you have any eye issues, be very cautious doing this. Don't overexert the eye muscles or stretch them too dramatically. And the next time the thumb comes to the center, just gaze at it, inhaling deeply. And as you exhale, straighten the arm, drawing the thumb away from you, keeping an eye on the thumb, as if you're, and then let your gaze go beyond that, as if you're looking out over a great large vista, like the Grand Canyon. Then we'll inhale, drawing the thumb back towards our eyes following the thumb the whole time. And then exhale, take the thumb out long, following it with your eyes. And then when your arm is at full length, look beyond that as if you're looking out to infinity. And then we'll let the hand fall, and feel free to make your way into Shavasana. Whatever is most wonderful and comfy for you. We'll be here for just a minute. So legs come to about 2 feet apart, match width distance. Hands are resting, palm face up, about a foot away from each hip. Feel free to tuck the tail just a little bit here, lengthening through the low back. Tuck the chin just a little bit here, lengthening through the cervical spine. And then lift the heart, tuck the shoulders under, and then let the whole torso come back down to the mat. Resting with a nice extended spine. Allowing the beneficial effects of this practice to really sink in. And when you're ready, if you're ready, and clearly, there's no hurry to be ready. Feel free to wiggle the fingers and toes, bringing some life back to the extremities. You can roll through the wrists and ankles a little bit, just loosely. And then we can draw the legs together, stretching the arms long above the head. Stretch, stretch, stretch. One of my teachers called this first thing in the morning stretch, but she didn't realize I don't do mornings. Stretching long, first thing in the afternoon, stretch. And then feel free to roll off to one side or the other, resting in a fetal position for just a second. Honoring your body, honoring your practice, honoring the sense of play. And when you're ready, now the moment before then, feel free to push down on one hand, then the other, taking the time possibly to sit up on the blanket. I think I stole your blanket.
Okay.
Here you go. And we'll inhale the arms out wide and up, maybe leaning forward, looking up. Exhale, pushing the hands down, maybe leaning back for Prana Mudra. Inhaling, arms out wide and up. Exhaling, pushing down. And this last time, we'll inhale the arms out wide and up. And when the hands come to the top, palms come together. And exhale the palms down right in front of the chest. If you wish to join us in an Om, you're more than welcome. Inhaling deeply. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for being patient with us, and thank you for practicing with us today. Namaste. Bonk. Thank you so much. We will be here next week and every other week, hopefully. So feel free to message us if you have any questions, and goodbye.